Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Our Issues Birmingham. I'm Tommy Spina, and today's guest is the new mayor of the city of Birmingham, taking office on November 28th, Randall WOODFIN.
Hey, Tommy. How's it going?
Oh, I got chill bumps just shaking your hand. Randall and I met in 2009.
Yes.
And when he was a prosecutor at the city of Birmingham, and I did suggest that he ought to consider running for mayor in 2009, and I'm not taking any credit for his win, but he is now the next mayor of the city of Birmingham. Randall, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
It was a great run.
Secretariat came from behind.
We did.
And
we were
pushed
last
forward.
place. In the 12-man race, we were probably in last place.
And lo and behold, now you're in first place.
Yeah, I'm thankful, and it's an amazing opportunity to make a difference in our entire community and our city.
Well, we're glad to have you. We're glad to have some fresh blood.
Yes, sir.
And we've been struggling as a community with what some have said, a lack of transparency in our city government, and I'm talking about the city of Birmingham. What would be, if I were you, what would be my first task to tackle?
I think as we create our transition team, we look at the first 100 days between November 28th and the beginning of March and pretty much do a personnel assessment as well as a financial audit to make sure our departments are right size, not being overstaffed, understaffed, or too top heavy, and making sure we're spending money the way we need to, aligned with priorities for each department for the services we're supposed to provide. I think that's extremely important because, you know, I've had a chance to look at, not just as a candidate, but as a lawyer for the city of Birmingham, up close watching what's going on at the city and how money's being spent. It hasn't been spent around priorities that address the real issues affecting our city.
And when you say audit, you're not implying that there's something inappropriate going on currently. You're just wanting to know.
I am hoping for the best.
Where the money's coming from,
right,
and where it's going to.
Right. So I'm inheriting an organization that's been done one way for the last 7 years. If I'm coming in saying these are our priorities, this is how much money we have, this is what we need to spend tax dollars on, it's important that we know how it's been spent first, and then make sure that things have been done in an appropriate way. And if there are any inefficiencies, misuse, misallocation, or things need to be repurposed and realigned, then we'll do that.
You know, one of the things that people talk about is the crime rate within the city of Birmingham. Chief Roper, of course, has been in place a pretty good while.
10 years.
And has tremendously well-respected credentials in our community. And I know you get to decide who becomes police chief or stays police chief. Some say that part of the problem with the crime rate is his lack of funding to have the necessary personnel to be able to do an effective job. Is that one of the things you'll be looking at as well?
I think it's important that we treat each department the same as it relates to the deep dive of the personnel assessment.
So how many departments do we have?
23. We have 23 departments.
Wow, that's a good number. And then underneath that, there are a number of other departments.
Yeah, so whether they're divisions, and then there are all these boards and agencies as well that deal directly from the mayor's office. Economic development and youth services, for example, are not departments, they're divisions. Or when we think about our arts culture, museum of art, our zoo, etc. These are things that are under arts and culture, different boards and agencies, which are separate from departments. So there are many things and departments and issues we have to take a deep dive into. What I will say is this: we tend to talk about Chief Roper as a standalone department head, and not mention the department head of our public works or any other departments that provide services as well. What's important to me as mayor is we look at each one. And so as it relates to crime, as it relates to our police force, I know personally that our police department is top heavy and understaffed at the same time. meaning we have too many captains. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that, but at the same time, that's less people who are actually beat officers on the ground being able to respond to crime and or build in community policing.
And that's just probably a function of attrition, would you say?
Yes.
I mean, not that anybody's been put in a position of captain for an inappropriate reason.
No, they deserve it. But at the exact same time,
we got to fill up the other side of the
we do.
tube.
And I will tell you, with the increase in crimes against persons and crimes against properties, we have to address right-sizing our police force. At the exact same time, we have to be creative in the space of community policing and empowering people where they live. So whether it's daytime neighborhood watch or whether it's how we use technology, should Spot Shooter actually be connected to cameras? Right now, we have Spot Shooter, but there's nobody to say if Spot Shooter goes off, are they able to see anything and route that to dispatch?
So you better tell us what Spot Shooter is.
Spot Shooter is a form of technology that allows our police department to pick up and hear when shots are fired from a pistol or a gun.
All over the city?
Wherever the spot shooter, no, just where the spot shooters are. The spot shooters are in certain places around the city.
They're devices that pick up the sound, audible sound.
Yes.
And then react to that.
Correct.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's important. But what if we actually connected that with some form of cameras that allowed us, so not only when we hear it, but we're able to see it, or at least, disbursement when people leave in that vicinity, so that we're able to respond faster and respond to a who, not necessarily just a sound.
Well, do you think the fact that we should probably let people know that there are spot shooters out there would be a deterrent?
Our spot shooter information is public. The real issue, and I thought about this yesterday, are people in fear that they can actually be punished for some of these crimes they commit?
Yeah.
Or is it just enough reckless behavior because people don't care? We have enough laws on the book. We need to enforce the laws we have.
Hold that thought. I want to talk to you about the arts in a minute. I'm Tommy Spina. This is Our Issues Birmingham. We'll be right back.